Hey everybody, back again, AFC North.
Yay!
Jesus Christ. And we're going to start right down the line.
Sam Schneider repping the Bengals in LA.
Dave Green, Browns guy.
Jan Davis, Utah, Ravens.
Gavin Peretti, Stillers.
All right, guys. So starting on down the line.
Well, actually, I think first things first.
No, we don't have to.
No, I think there's something needs to be taken care of.
I do owe you something.
That is a division loss.
Oh, God.
So he's giving up the colors.
This is so painful. This is now I know how Chris felt last week. But there you go, sir.
At least you still got a smile on your face. He looked really depressed.
For everybody in Cleveland, this is for you.
Oh,
Like a championship.
No, fuck you.
And this is where that shit's going to stay for the rest of this fight.
Dave's going to be waving that around the next game.
You enjoy Matt Elam on your shoulder. All right, guys.
Matt Elam, it's signed by you.
It is. By the way, Matt Elam. Elam versus ELO. That
He's
is
showing hate at you, buddy.
First
Lots
round.
of hate.
That's what I wore for the game, so it's only fair that's what I lost.
I'll never put it on again.
I won't. I will
Matt
never touch it.
ain't
Sorry,
there
Matt.
anymore.
Sorry, Matt.
He shares a birthday with me. He and I. It's like
Sorry,
I was like, I love that guy. Same birthday. Let's do it. Yeah. And now I'm like, God.
That's being worn by a Browns fan on his shoulder.
Oh, fuck you. All right, so let's start on down the line.
Cincinnati is 5-0. For the first time in 427 games, a team rallied from 17 down in the fourth quarter. It was your Bengals beating up on the Seahawks. Honestly, came out first drive was bang bang. We were in the end zone like that, which we've done all season, which feels really good to get on the board that quickly. Very next drive had a 72-yard bomb to AJ called back on a somewhat questionable holding penalty. Which not only took the wind out of our sails, but from then on, we could get absolutely nothing going. I mean, we would get, 30 yards maybe, punt, 30 yards maybe, punt. Andy threw a pick, he got sacked a couple times. But then, in the fourth quarter, they were resilient as hell, which is something you haven't been able to say about the Bengals. This is absolutely a game we would have rolled over and lost in years past. Everybody said on the sideline from Hugh Jackson to Andy Dalton said they all looked at each other. They all said we're going to win the game. Mike Nugent comes on, kicks the tying field goal as time expired. Got to stop in overtime, kick the game winner off the upright. Mike Nugent always goes for a heart attack.
Oh my God! Whenever that kick happened, I was like, I'm sitting, of course, on the Ravens guy. I'm like, no.
Right, of course. But overall, it was a team win, and as well as the offense played in the fourth quarter, really got to give it up to our defense who completely turned the game around. We were getting gashed by the run game all game long, and they just came up with stop after stop after stop in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I honestly, how good is it to have a defense? Because I don't know.
It feels pretty good, and I'm not going to lie to you. The secondary is still a little suspect, so I'm with you on that. But Seattle didn't have a Jeremy Maclin or a Steve Smith Sr., so we didn't get quite as burned up as we had been in the past. But the D-line was all over the place.
Almost watching the Bengals, you can see a light turning on there. Like, Dalton seems to be putting it all together.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
his
confidence.
Fifth year? It really just seems like he's really turning it on. Like something's clicking.
Don't listen to him, Bengal fans. Tune out the noise. All this shit in the media, everybody's saying all these good things. Just tune it out. Be prepared for the next game. We're not trying to go 16-0. We're trying to go 6-0.
You don't need the Dolphins?
Dolphins.
So you're saying one day at a time?
One game at a time. Backs against the wall. Cliche.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's move it on down to the Browns.
Victory. Overtime against these guys.
That's a division win.
Last time that happened was in 2007. Exact same score.
See,
Really?
In 2007, the Browns beat us in overtime, 33-30. In 2007,
that's
I swear to
crazy.
God.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
he took his jersey off, but he still got a Ravens.
Yeah, exactly. I said jersey. I didn't say shirtless.
Next time.
That's right. We prefer it this way. Anyway.
All I know is we're 1-0 in the division. That's awesome because the Bengals, you guys are what, 2-0?
Yeah. No, 1-0. We've just played against the Ravens so far.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna take it. We're seeing steps. We're watching momentum happen. We're watching the tide start to turn.
Don't hurt yourself.
The belt's a little heavy. I'm sorry. Let me fix that on my shoulder there for y'all. No, we're gonna take it. The thing that pissed me off about the whole damn thing, penalties. Stupid stupid penalties.
Did you have any of
There's no
these?
Yeah, no.
Any of those ones?
We had a
I think I
few
needed.
of
Well,
these
I needed
from both
Jason
sides.
Babin and like Zadarius Smith to do a lot of that. Like, how do you get called for
They
not
turned around,
lining
they went
up?
up Jason Babin after the game.
Yeah, I know.
He
Gone,
was
done. So anyway,
That's the thing that I've preached about for the last 3-4 weeks. Stupid penalties that will fucking kill you each and every time. You can't have that. I get a pass interference call, that type of shit. But offside penalties, there's no excuse.
You're
for
not
that
gonna
shit.
beat us if you got those. So.
Yeah.
Please, with Michael Vick, give me a break. You let me know when you guys get Roethlisberger back.
Might be sooner than you think. He was doing 7-on-7s today.
He's
so.
not gonna be there. He's not gonna be there
Reactivated
next
I
week.
heard,
He's
yeah.
gonna be there
On
the
Monday,
week
I
after.
think it was.
If I can, I would like to be the first to step up and say, if you're watching McCown, I'm really sorry that I said that you were garbage because he is fucking ripping it up right now.
3 back-to-back
He's
back
ripping
he
it
just
up.
300 yards
destroyed
passing.
our secondary.
You guys are really
Second
not
quarterback in Cleveland history to throw for over 450 yards, only to Bernie Kosar against the Jets in like 86 or 87. And that was only by like 10 yards.
It's two back-to-back amazing games.
Yeah, we're really turning the turn.
Yeah, you guys are. I mean, honestly, like we could have won that game, and the defense was just like it didn't show up. Switching over to the Ravens real quick because my points are what everybody knows about the Ravens. First of all, we have such a lack of talent on the team, and it's not because these guys aren't playing hard. They're playing their hearts out. They're just not the talent going against these elite. Other teams. We've got our third string guys playing our first stringers
There's
because
so many
we
injuries.
have so many injuries.
Yep.
1/3 of the biggest part of the salary cap was on the sidelines, basically, that game.
Yeah.
We have a big lack of coaching problem. I'm not putting it all on Dean Pease, but I'm putting a good amount on Dean Pease. By the way, firedeanpease.com is an actual thing. You should check it out.
Really?
Yeah, swear to God, firedeanpease.com. We really didn't have. We had such horrible tackling. Even C.J. Mosley had the worst.
That was a terrible.
It was horrible.
That tackle.
The linebackers, guys, you did the worst. I know you know that, but as a fan who bleeds for you every single week, you guys sucked. Oh, God, it was horrible. And the penalties in the neutral zone, what do you do? Thank God Jason Babin's out because he did nothing for us. And offsides, Smith, offsides? Really? Come on. I know you're a rookie, but don't be that rookie. So there's that for us. I mean, literally, when it went into overtime, I had flashbacks of that 07 game. I'm like, please don't let this thing happen again. And then as soon as you guys lined up for that field goal, I'm like, this is a repeat. I remember
That was
this.
a great drive, 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, it
and
really
the way to
was.
use the clock. Most of
It
his
was- it
drives
was-
seem to be 6.5 to 8 minute marks.
Really was. But anyway, so, man,
But you
it's
said-
to say, you guys earned that. Hands down, you did. Moving on to Steelers.
I got to give him that moment. No, the Steelers. It was an awesome game. The Chargers-Steelers game was probably that was
an entertaining game. That's
so intense. And we played a really bad game for the first half of that game. I mean, very bad. Michael Vick did not really even show up. Thankfully, our defense did show up because that's one thing we haven't had. We got Shamarko Thomas and Will Allen finally the safeties that come together and they make something happen.
They actually made plays.
Yeah, they make plays. I'm like, whoa, cool. You actually, you
exactly.
got a fumble recovery. Fuck
Wonder
yeah.
Twin Powers activate.
Yeah, exactly. And Le'Veon Bell is always a beast. So just having him there, he had 111 yards for 21 carries. And at the end, he just didn't give up on that last play.
Yeah, they ran him out of that Wildcat a lot.
And that Wildcat at the
came
end.
in.
Right.
He went one time in, he couldn't get in. He went twice, couldn't get in. The third time, just got in.
Yeah.
I mean,
You
it
guys
was
will
just
get it.
incredible.
You get there enough, you get it. So.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting.
Exactly.
They said that on the sideline during that timeout that Big Ben was the one that drew up the long bomb to Marcus Wheaton.
And that's the other thing I wanted to say is it looked like Ben Roethlisberger was coaching the team.
Yeah.
It really did.
Wouldn't
It
be
told that
surprised
he
me.
was freaking in charge of the team. Whenever you looked over at the Steelers yard line, it was him talking and was like, "Where is Mike Tomlin? I don't know."
Yeah.
Anyway, so Michael Vick, he pulled it together in the second half, and really the winning drive was when he rushed for 24 yards and got that. I mean, that was the game winner for the Steelers.
Yeah.
So, that's what we're looking at. We got a kicker, or Chris Boswell actually kicked a 47 yards.
Yeah.
Good
and,
you know what?
And you know what? And you know what? It was good from way further out.
Yeah,
than that,
totally.
Too. I mean,
He
he
could have
crushed
gotten
that ball.
Yeah, he really did.
Could have been a 60 yard, but it would still been in. So that's what we're looking at. I'm feeling happy about how it went, obviously.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to previews real quick. On to
Sure. Cincinnati is going to Buffalo to play the Bills. Big news that came out yesterday is that there's a possibility that Tyrod Taylor is not going to play in this game, and that EJ Manuel might get the start. That's going to make them a completely different team. EJ Manuel still a mobile quarterback, but the reason he's not the starter and the reason he couldn't keep the job in the past is because he makes bad mistakes. Overthrows and stuff like that. That being said, it looks like the Bills are going to have Carlos Williams back at running back, and he's looked really good. Great rookie runner. So the Bengals are going to have their hands full there. I think the key for the game is whether we can actually get our run going in this game, because Buffalo's front seven is really good.
I remember when I had EJ Manuel as a fantasy quarterback for a week.
Never again.
Never again.
So
For a bit too.
look for the Bengals to get the run going. If they can't, I still have confidence that Andy can make throws down the field.
Yeah.
And Buffalo's actually given up a pretty good chunk of yards to tight ends. So I sound like a broken record, but I'm looking for Tyler Eifert to get into the end zone in this game.
Prediction?
I'm going to say 27-16.
27-16. All right, go for it.
Denver comes to Cleveland. We play 2 on the road. We go back home. Peyton seems to be a shell of his former self. Coming off a huge emotional road win like that, I think we have momentum in our favor. I like what we're doing offensively. I like how we're getting the running backs involved. We're using Barnbridge like a beast.
Duke looks great.
He's
catching a lot of balls out of
He
the-
catches
oh, yeah.
a shit ton of balls.
Freaking good.
If we can keep the guy
It's a
healthy,
Maryland boy right there.
oh man, it's going to be ridiculous sick with this guy.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think Denver has a chance. We talk about the whole East Coast team to the West Coast thing, and then the West Coast guys come out east, and the time change. I think the Browns are going to pull this one out, probably late again, 24-17.
24-17.
It's going to be a
Wow.
big test for your offense.
It really is.
Yeah.
I say the Bills have a good front seven. Denver, I think, probably has the best front seven in the league.
Yeah, like their front seven.
They're sack machines.
If we use the running backs right, and we use the swing passes and the dump offs,
Exactly.
we have a really good chance of winning this.
I'm looking for a
It's
couple
just-
tosses to Duke Johnson in fantasy.
Yeah.
Oh God, I could see like 10 to him, maybe 8 to Barnbridge.
That would make
yeah.
me very happy.
So moving on to Ravens San Francisco. This is like a kind of a heartbreaking game because I'm going to be watching 2 of my favorite Ravens players ever play on the opposite team, Anquan Bolden and Torrey Smith. It breaks my heart seeing them in red jerseys. But here are the keys really to this game. First of all, the good news is that Steve Smith Sr., Crockett Gilmore were both at practice, limited, but they were at practice. We got a brand new CB, Sharice Wright, good best friends with Jimmy Smith. I was watching his highlights earlier. He's a really decent tackler. Picked off Andy Dalton whenever he was with the Chargers.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, exactly. So it's not that big, but I'm excited to see what happens there. Our keys really here are we are 8th in the league offensively for points. The problem is that we are also 8th in the league defensively for giving up points.
Wow. Yeah.
We are just ahead of Detroit and just behind Houston. Then with pass coverage, we need Sharice to start immediately. We got to contain Bolden. We got to contain Torrey Smith. He knows Flacco. He knows how to I'm sure they're trading inside information just like Sharice is with us. Because he just came from the 49ers. So that's right, fans. Not only did we pick up a guy from the 49ers, we're also playing them this week.
Our preseason backup quarterback just went to the Bills the other day. Like, thanks.
Give us some information.
Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
The other thing is that the one thing we definitely saw in the last game was that our defense was trying to blitz like constantly. We don't have Suggs. All we've got is Doomerville, and that's why he picked apart our secondary because he was throwing like, they're blitzing.
We read the blitz
all day. It was literally ridiculous. So you can't we can't blitz as much. I love my past blitzes and stuff like that. We can't do it. And also, the real key is to stop Carlos Hyde from running if he plays. We got to stuff him down the middle.
That dude's a beast.
He is. He really is a beast. I love him as a runner, like on fantasy, killing it. But am not looking forward to playing against him. If I had looking at this honestly, with the way that they've got their weapon stack versus our weapon stacks, I don't think the Ravens are going to pull this out. I think that it's going to be San Francisco. I think it's going to be 26. I'm going to say 26-21.
Wow.
I really don't think that the Ravens have the artillery to do it. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I think it's going to be 26-21.
I think you might be overestimating Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah. I know, and that's why that was the really big problem I had with putting myself on this bubble. But I still think that as a mobile
49ers
quarterback,
get creamed sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
Obviously we just
but
cream them.
so that's my deal.
Yeah.
Steelers.
So, sorry.
No worries.
You're like
Steelers.
Okay, so against the Cardinals, usually the Pittsburgh Steelers just dismantle the Cardinals. It's been like pretty much a common theme throughout our rivalry. But we're without Dick LeBeau and we're without his defense. So I'm kind of curious to see how that's going to actually like play itself out this time. I'm actually worried because the Cardinals are very fierce this year.
They are.
We've got to shut down the Palmer Fitzgerald like combo.
Right.
Because that combo is just a deadly combo. And if our secondary continues to play like they did last week, I think we'll be fine. I do think our offense is going to wipe them away. Our offense is very good. We're not going to have Ben Roethlisberger. We're going to have him back the week after that, most likely. I think this game goes, I'm going to say the same, 24-20, actually, because we usually pull it out against the Cards at the very last minute at a very low rate. So I think it's going to be 24-20.
Right on.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that is it for us. Where are you going to be at watching the Bengals game?
Any social media platform at Bengals West will be at Five Line Tavern in Eagle Rock.
No.
I will be working.
You're ridiculous. Jesus. Okay. Sorry.
He'll be live tweeting though.
He'll be
I will be
live
live
tweeting.
tweeting.
Sorry, it just went off, and I decided to. We'll edit this later. Anyway, Jesus Christ. I'm going to be over at the West Wing, hanging out with those guys over at the Happy Endings Bar in Hollywood. Please come join me if you're a Ravens fan. We'd love to have you there. And where are you going to be?
And I'm going to be at Champs in Burbank, which is on Burbank. So come on,
In
join
case you
me.
couldn't find
In
it.
case
Yeah,
you
in
couldn't
case you
find
couldn't
it.
find it, it's on Burbank.
It's this place in Burbank on Burbank. Yeah. All right, guys. Don't forget also to subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at AFC Northerners. And we were going to sign off as we always do with
Fuck the Patriots.
See you guys next Thursday at noon.
Dean Bees.
Yeah, right. FireDeanPeas.com.
.com.
Later.